The shuttle docked with a soft hum, and Yuna grabbed her bag from under the seat. Through the small window, she could see the Velthari space station stretching out like a dark metal flower against the stars. It was beautiful in a strange way. Sharp edges, cold lights. Everything about it said one thing. Danger. Yuna smiled anyway. She had studied the Velthari for 3 years from Earth. She had read every report, watched every recording, and memorized every fact about their biology. They were predators. Real predators. Not like the wolves or lions back home. The Velthari had evolved on a death world where everything wanted to eat everything else. They had fangs that could cut through metal, claws that could tear open ship walls, eyes that could see in total darkness. The galaxy feared them. Most species stayed far away from Velthari space, but Yuna was not most people. The airlock opened with a hiss, and Yuna stepped onto the station. The air was colder here, and it smelled different. There was a sharp scent, like rust and pine mixed together. She knew from her studies that this was the natural smell of Velthari. Their bodies made special chemicals that helped them hunt. On their home world, that smell meant death was coming. Here, it just meant she was in the right place. A tall figure waited for her at the end of the walkway. He stood almost 3 meters high, covered in dark gray fur that looked like shadows had come alive. His eyes were golden, with thin black lines for pupils. When he opened his mouth to speak, Yuna could see rows of teeth that were sharper than any knife. "You are the human," he said. His voice was deep, like rocks falling into water. "I am," Yuna said. She bowed her head a little, showing respect. "My name is Yuna. Thank you for letting me visit your station." The Velthari studied her for a long moment. His nose moved slightly as he smelled the air around her. Yuna knew he was checking her emotions. The Velthari could smell fear, anger, happiness, and lies. They could read a person's feelings better than any machine. Whatever he smelled, it seemed to satisfy him. "I am Kale," he said. "I am the station commander. My mate, Nari, is waiting with the council. We have been told that you wish to study our kind." "I do," Yuna said. "I have always been interested in the Velthari. Your species is amazing." Kale made a sound that might have been a laugh. It sounded more like a growl. "Most species use other words. Dangerous, scary, monster." Yuna shrugged. "Those words are boring. Amazing is better." For the first time, something changed in Kale's golden eyes. It was not quite warmth, but it was not coldness either. It was curiosity. Yuna had surprised him. "Follow me," he said. They walked through the station together. Other Velthari stopped to watch them pass. Yuna knew she looked strange to them. She was so small compared to their kind. Her skin was smooth instead of covered in fur. Her teeth were flat and useless for hunting. Her claws were just tiny nails that could not hurt anyone. To the Velthari, she must have looked like food. But Yuna kept walking with her head high. She was not afraid. She had never been afraid of animals, even the dangerous ones. When she was young, she had worked at a wildlife center back on Earth. She had fed wolves by hand. She had cleaned the teeth of sleeping tigers. She had held baby bears while their mothers watched. The Velthari were just another species, big and scary on the outside. But living things were living things. They all had the same basic needs: food, safety, family. Kale led her to a large room with windows that showed the stars. Inside, a female Velthari was waiting. She was slightly smaller than Kale, but her claws looked just as sharp. Her fur was lighter, more silver than gray. And at her feet, 3 small shapes were playing. Cubs. Yuna's heart melted immediately. The cubs were small, maybe up to her waist. They had round faces and big eyes and fluffy fur that stuck out in every direction. They were play-fighting with each other, rolling around on the floor and making tiny growling sounds. They were the cutest things Yuna had ever seen. "This is Nari," Kale said, pointing to his mate. "And these are our cubs, Riki, Tomo, and Bora." Nari dipped her head in greeting. "Human. We have a request." "Anything," Yuna said. She was still watching the cubs. One of them, a female with a white spot on her nose, had noticed her. The little cub was staring at Yuna with wide, curious eyes. "The council meeting will last many hours," Nari said. "We cannot bring the cubs. They are too young. They make too much noise. We need someone to watch them." Yuna blinked. "You want me to babysit?" "Yes," Kale said. "We know this is strange, but our usual caretaker is sick, and the council meeting is very important. It cannot wait." "I would be happy to help," Yuna said immediately. She smiled at the cubs. "I love children. All kinds of children." Nari and Kyle looked at each other. Something passed between them, a silent conversation that Yuna could not hear. Then Nari stepped closer to her. "There is something you must know," Nari said. Her voice was serious. "Our cubs are at the age where they practice hunting. It is natural for them. They cannot help it." "Hunting?" Yuna asked. "They will crouch low," Kale explained. "They will show their claws. They will growl and try to look scary. They call it the hunting pose. It is how young Velthari learn to become predators. When they do this," Nari continued, "you must not show fear. If you show fear, they will think you are prey. They might get too excited. They might hurt you by accident." Yuna looked at the cubs again. They had stopped playing. All three of them were watching her now. 6 golden eyes, full of young curiosity and old instinct. "What should I do instead?" Yuna asked. "Stay calm," Kale said. "Stand still. Let them smell you. When they see you are not afraid, they will lose interest. They will go back to playing." Yuna nodded slowly. "Okay, I understand." But inside her head, she was thinking something different. She was thinking about all the baby animals she had cared for over the years. Wolf pups who tried to bite her fingers. Lion cubs who practiced pouncing on her feet. Bear babies who climbed on her back and pulled her hair. She had never stood still for any of them. Nari touched Yuna's shoulder gently. "Are you sure you want to do this? Our cubs are not like human children. They are born with sharp claws and strong jaws. They can hurt you without meaning to." "I will be fine," Yuna said. "I promise." The 2 adult Velthari looked at her for a long moment. They could smell her emotions. They knew she was not afraid. And that, more than anything else, seemed to confuse them. "We will return in 4 hours," Kale said finally. "If there is any problem, press the red button by the door. Guards will come immediately." "Thank you," Yuna said. "But I do not think I will need them." Nari made a soft sound. It might have been worry. It might have been doubt. But she followed her mate out of the room, and the door closed behind them with a soft click. Yuna was alone with the cubs. For a moment, nothing happened. The 3 little Velthari just stared at her. Then the smallest one, a male with dark stripes on his arms, took a step forward. His little nose was working hard, smelling everything about her. "Hello," Yuna said softly. She sat down on the floor so she was closer to their height. "My name is Yuna. What is your name?" The cub tilted his head. He did not answer. Maybe he was too young to talk much. Or maybe he was just deciding if she was food or friend. Yuna waited. She kept her body relaxed. She kept her smile warm. And slowly, very slowly, the little cub walked closer. The smallest cub stopped right in front of Yuna. His nose was almost touching her knee. He sniffed once, twice, 3 times. Then he looked up at her with those big golden eyes. "You smell strange," he said. His voice was high and soft, like a kitten trying to roar. Yuna laughed gently. "I am sure I do. I am a human." "We smell different from Velthari." "Human," the cub repeated. He seemed to be testing the word. "What is human?" "I come from a planet called Earth," Yuna said. "It is very far away. We have no fur like you. No claws. No sharp teeth." The cub's eyes went wide. "No claws? How do you hunt?" "We do not hunt the same way you do. We use tools, machines." This answer seemed to confuse the little one. He sat down right where he was, his fluffy tail curling around his feet. That sounds hard. It can be, Yuna said. But we manage. The other two cubs had been watching from a safe distance. Now the female with the white spot on her nose walked closer. She was braver than she looked. Her steps were careful but steady. I am Bora, she said. That is Tomo. She pointed at the smallest cub. And he is Riki. She pointed at the third cub, who was still standing far away. Hello, Bora. Hello, Tomo. Hello, Riki, Yuna said. She waved at each of them. I am Yuna. Alder. I am Yuna. Alder. Alder. I am Yuna. Alder. I am Yuna. I will be taking care of you while your parents are at the meeting. Bora tilted her head. Taking care? Like a guard? Like a friend, Yuna said. We can play together. Talk together. I brought some toys from my planet too. Toys? Tomo's ears went straight up. He was clearly interested. What kind of toys? Yuna reached into her bag and pulled out a small ball. It was soft and colorful, made of fabric and filled with beans. She had brought it thinking the cubs might like to chase it. This is a ball, she said. You throw it, and then you catch it. Or you can roll it on the floor. She tossed the ball gently to Tomo. The little cub caught it with both hands, his claws sinking into the soft fabric. He looked at it like it was the most amazing thing he had ever seen. It does not move on its own, he said. No, Yuna agreed. You have to make it move. That is strange. But Tomo was already squeezing the ball, feeling how it changed shape in his hands. I like it. Bora moved closer, wanting to see the toy too. Yuna pulled out another ball, this one blue, and handed it to her. Bora took it carefully, as if she was afraid she might break it. It is soft, Bora said. Our toys are hard, made of metal and stone. Earth toys are often soft, Yuna said. We make them that way so no one gets hurt when they play. No one gets hurt? Riki's voice came from across the room. He had not moved from his spot. What is the point of playing if no one gets hurt? Yuna looked at him. Riki was the biggest of the three cubs. He was also the most careful. He had been watching her this whole time, and he had not relaxed even once. Playing is about having fun, Yuna said. It does not need to hurt. Riki made a sound deep in his throat. It was almost a growl. That is not what our father says. He says, playing is practice. Practice for hunting. Practice for fighting. Practice for being strong. Your father is right, Yuna said. Playing can be practice, but it can also just be fun. Both things can be true. Riki did not answer. He just kept watching her with those sharp golden eyes. Yuna decided not to push. Some children needed time. Some children needed to watch and think before they could trust. Riki was that kind of child. She would let him come to her when he was ready. For now, she focused on Tomo and Bora. The two younger cubs were throwing their balls back and forth, laughing when they missed. Their laugh sounded strange to human ears, high and rough, like rocks being rubbed together. But Yuna loved the sound anyway. You are good at catching, she told Bora. Bora puffed up with pride. I am the fastest. Mother says I will be a great hunter one day. I am sure you will be, Yuna said. Tomo is not fast, Bora said. But he is smart. He finds things that others miss. Tomo nodded happily. I found a secret room last week. No one knew it was there, but I found it. That is very impressive, Yuna said. Being smart is just as important as being fast. What about Riki? Tomo asked. He looked at his brother across the room. What is Riki good at? Ah, Yuna thought about it. I do not know yet. But I am sure he is good at many things. Riki's ears moved at the sound of his name. He was listening, even if he did not want to join them. The game with the balls continued for a while. Yuna taught them new ways to play. Bounce the ball on the floor. Throw it high and catch it. Roll it between your legs. The cubs picked up each game quickly. They were smart and fast. just like Bora had said, but as the minutes passed, Yuna noticed something changing. Tomo was the first to stop playing. He put his ball down and looked at her in a different way. His body got low. His back bent. His little claws came out of his fingers. Yuna knew what was happening. The hunting pose. "Tomo?" she said softly. The cub did not answer. His eyes were fixed on her. They had changed somehow. They were still golden, but now they looked sharper, more focused. Bora noticed what her brother was doing. She dropped her ball too. Her body moved the same way. Low and ready. Claws out. Eyes locked on Yuna. From across the room, Riki finally moved. He walked forward slowly, his bigger body sliding through the air like a shadow. He did not speak. He did not make a sound. He just got into position with his brother and sister. 3 cubs, 3 hunting poses. 6 golden eyes staring at Yuna, like she was dinner. The room went very quiet. Yuna remembered what Kael and Nari had told her. Do not show fear. Stand still. Let them smell that you are calm. They will lose interest. She understood the advice. It made sense. But Yuna did not follow it. Instead, she looked at Tomo. The smallest cub was crouched right in front of her, his little body shaking with excitement. He was trying so hard to look scary. His tiny growl came out more like a purr. Yuna smiled. She reached out with both hands, picked Tomo up under his arms, and lifted him right off the floor. The cub froze. His claws stopped moving. His growl died in his throat. He just hung there in her hands, his legs dangling, his face full of pure confusion. "Oh my goodness," Yuna said. Her voice was warm and full of love. "Look at you. You are so scary. You are the scariest little hunter I have ever seen." Tomo did not know what to do. No one had ever done this before. No one had ever picked him up in the middle of a hunt. Yuna pulled him close to her chest. She held him the way she used to hold wolf pups back on Earth. Firm but gentle, safe and warm. Then she kissed the top of his head. Tomo made a sound. It was not a growl. It was not a roar. It was something softer. Something that came from deep in his chest. A purr. Bora and Riki watched with wide eyes. Their hunting poses broke apart. They stood up straight, their mouths hanging open. "What did you do?" Bora asked. Yuna was still holding Tomo. The little cub had gone completely limp in her arms. His eyes were closed. His purr was getting louder. "I hugged him," Yuna said simply. "And I kissed his head. That is what humans do when we see something cute." "Cute?" Riki said the word, like he had never heard it before. "It means lovely, adorable. Something that makes you want to protect it and take care of it." Bora looked at her brother in Yuna's arms. Tomo was still purring. He looked more relaxed than she had ever seen him. "Does it feel good?" Bora asked him. Tomo opened one eye. "Yes," he whispered. "It feels very good." Bora looked back at Yuna. Something new was in her golden eyes. Something that looked almost like hope. "Can I try?" she asked quietly. Yuna smiled and opened one arm. "Come here." Bora walked forward. She did not crouch. She did not show her claws. She just walked like a normal cub until she reached Yuna's side. Yuna wrapped her free arm around Bora and pulled her close. She kissed the top of Bora's head, right on the white spot on her nose. Bora's whole body went stiff for 1 second. Then she melted. Her little form pressed against Yuna's side, and a purr rose from her chest to join her brother's. Only Riki was left. He stood alone, watching his brother and sister. His face was hard to read, but his ears were forward, listening to their purrs. "Riki," Yuna said gently, "would you like to join us?" The biggest cub did not move. He was fighting something inside himself. The hunter part of him said this was wrong. Prey was supposed to run. Prey was supposed to be scared. But another part of him, a smaller and quieter part, wanted to know what it felt like, to be held, to be kissed, to be called cute, slowly, one step at a time. Riki walked forward. Riki stopped just out of reach. His golden eyes moved between his siblings and the strange human woman who held them. Tomo and Bora were still purring. The sound filled the room like soft music. Riki had never heard his brother and sister purr like this. Velthari cubs purred sometimes, but only when they were very young, very safe, very loved. As they grew older, they learned to hide the sound. Purring was weak. Purring was prey behavior. But Tomo and Bora did not look weak. They looked happy. "I do not understand," Riki said. His voice was quiet, almost scared. "You are not afraid of us." Yuna looked at him. Her eyes were soft and kind. "No," she said, "I am not." "Why?" "We showed you the hunting pose. We showed you our claws, our teeth. We did everything right." Again. "You did," Yuna agreed. "Your hunting pose was very good. All three of you looked very scary. Then why did you not run? Why did you not freeze?" Riki's voice cracked a little. He was confused and frustrated. Nothing was working the way it was supposed to. Yuna thought about how to answer. She knew this moment was important. Riki was older than his siblings. He had learned more rules about how the world worked. Those rules were breaking right now, and he did not know what to do. "Can I tell you a story?" Yuna asked. Riki did not answer, but he did not leave either. "That was good enough. On my planet," Yuna began, "there are animals called wolves. They are predators, like your kind. They have sharp teeth and strong claws. They hunt in groups and take down prey much bigger than themselves." Riki listened carefully. He knew about wolves. He had seen pictures in the galactic records. "When I was young," Yuna continued, "I worked at a place that took care of hurt wolves. Wolves that were too sick or too injured to live in the wild. We fed them. We helped them get better. And sometimes, we raised their babies." "Wolf cubs?" Tomo asked. He had opened his eyes and was listening to the story. "Yes. Wolf pups, we call them." Yuna smiled at the memory. "They were small and fluffy, like you. And when they were learning to hunt, they would practice on me." "What did you do?" Bora asked. "The same thing I did with you. I picked them up. I held them close. I kissed their little heads and told them how brave and strong they were." "Did they attack you?" Riki asked. "Sometimes they tried. They would bite my hands, pull my hair, scratch my arms." Yuna showed them her hands. There were small, white scars on her fingers, old marks from old bites. But I never stopped holding them. I never showed fear. And slowly, they learned that I was not food. I was family. Riki stared at her hands, at the scars, at the proof that she had done this before, that she had faced predators and loved them anyway. "You are strange," he said finally. "I know," Yuna said. "Humans are very strange. We see something dangerous and our first thought is not how to run away. Our first thought is how to make friends. That is foolish. Maybe. But it has worked for us so far. Humans have made friends with wolves, with big cats, with bears, with creatures that could kill us with one bite. And now here I am, making friends with you." Riki looked at his siblings again. They were both watching him, waiting for him to decide what to do next. "It does feel good," Bora said softly. "The hugging, the kissing. It feels like being safe. It feels like being home," Tomo added. Riki's ears went flat against his head. He was fighting with himself. Yuna could see it in every line of his body. The hunter wanted to stay strong, stay proud, stay dangerous, but the cub just wanted to be held. Yuna did not push. She did not reach for him. She just waited with her arms open. Tomo and Bora still cuddled against her sides. "I am the oldest," Riki said. "I am supposed to protect them. I am supposed to be strong." "You are strong," Yuna said. "But being strong does not mean being alone. Even the greatest hunters need rest. Even the fiercest warriors need love." "How do you know that?" "Because every living thing needs love. It is the one rule that never changes. No matter what planet you come from, no matter what shape your body takes, everyone needs to feel safe. Everyone needs to feel wanted. Ricky was quiet for a long time. Yuna could hear his breath, fast at first, then slowly getting calmer. He was making a choice. A hard choice. Then he took one step forward. And another. And another. When he reached Yuna, he did not crouch. He did not show his claws. He just stood there, looking at her with those golden eyes that had seen too much too soon. I do not know how to do this, he admitted. That is okay, Yuna said. I will show you. She reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away if he wanted, but he did not move. She put her hand on the top of his head, between his ears. His fur was softer than she expected. Warm and thick. Ricky went very still. Yuna gently pulled him closer. He let her. His body was stiff at first, but as she wrapped her arm around him, he began to relax. Little by little, muscle by muscle, she kissed the top of his head, just like she had done with his siblings, and Ricky broke. The purr that came out of him was not small. It was deep and loud, like a motor starting. It shook his whole body. His eyes closed. His head dropped against Yuna's shoulder. For the first time in his young life, Ricky let himself be soft. Yuna held all three cubs now. Tomo on her left, Bora on her right. Ricky in the middle, his bigger body pressed against hers like he was afraid she might disappear. They stayed like that for a long time. The cubs purred. Yuna hummed a soft song from Earth. A lullaby that her mother used to sing when she was small. The words were in a language the cubs did not know. But they did not need to understand the words. They understood the feeling. Safe. Warm. Loved. Yuna? Tomo's voice was sleepy. Yes? Will you stay with us forever? Yuna smiled sadly. She knew she could not promise that. She was a visitor here. A stranger from another world. She had her own life, her own home, her own family waiting for her back on Earth. But right now, in this moment, none of that mattered. I will stay as long as I can, she said. And even when I leave, I will remember you. Always. What does that mean? Bora asked. Remember? It means I will keep you in my heart. When I am far away, I will think about you. I will wonder how you are doing. I will hope you are happy and healthy and growing strong. That sounds nice, Bora said. Her purr was getting softer. She was falling asleep. It is nice, Yuna agreed. It is one of the best things about making friends. You carry them with you. Even when you are apart. Ricky lifted his head a little. His eyes were half closed, heavy with sleep. Yuna? Yes, Ricky? Thank you, for not being afraid. For holding us. For... He struggled to find the words. For treating us like cubs. Not like monsters. Yuna felt her heart squeeze tight. She kissed his head again. You are not monsters. You are children. Beautiful. Brave. Wonderful children. And anyone who says different does not know what they are talking about. Ricky made a small sound. It might have been a laugh. It might have been a sob. Either way, he pressed closer to her and closed his eyes. One by one, the cubs fell asleep. Yuna sat on the floor of the Velthari space station, surrounded by 3 sleeping predators. Their claws were still sharp. Their teeth were still deadly. But right now, they were just children, tired from playing, happy from being held, safe in the arms of someone who saw them not as threats, but as treasures. She looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, billions of species were going about their lives, fighting, trading, exploring. Most of them were afraid of each other. Most of them kept their distance. But not Yuna. Never Yuna. She had come to the stars looking for connection, looking for understanding, looking for the same thing every living creature wanted. And here, with 3 Velthari cubs purring in her lap, she had found it. The door to the room slid open 4 hours later. Kale and Nari walked in, still talking in low voices about the council meeting. It had been long and difficult. Many decisions had been made. Many arguments had been settled. They were tired and ready to collect their cubs and go home. They were not ready for what they saw. Kale stopped so suddenly that Nari bumped into his back. She was about to say something sharp, but then she saw it too. The human was sitting on the floor. Her back was against the wall. Her eyes were closed, and her breathing was soft and slow. She was asleep, and in her lap, all three of their cubs were sleeping too. Riki was curled up on her right side, his big body pressed tight against her. His head was resting on her shoulder, and his mouth was slightly open. A thin line of drool had made a wet spot on her shirt. Tomo was on her left, tucked under her arm like a small, furry package. He was sucking on one of his claws, a habit he had not done since he was very young. Bora was right in the middle, lying across Yuna's legs. Her white-spotted nose was pressed against the human's stomach, and her tail was wrapped around Yuna's ankle. All three cubs were purring. The sound filled the room, deep and soft and constant, like a machine humming, like a heart beating. Kale and Nari had not heard that sound in years. "By the stars," Nari whispered. Her voice was shaking. "What happened here?" She rushed forward, her instincts screaming at her to check on her children. Were they hurt? Were they sick? Why were they lying on this strange human like she was their mother? The movement woke Yuna. Her eyes opened slowly, and she blinked a few times before she understood where she was. Then she saw Nari standing over her, and she smiled. "Oh, hello," Yuna said softly. "You are back. How was the meeting?" Nari did not answer. She was staring at her cubs like she had never seen them before. "They are fine," Yuna said. She kept her voice low so she would not wake the children. "We played for a while. Then they got sleepy. They have been resting for about an hour now." "They are purring," Nari said. It was not a question. It was a statement of shock. "Yes. They have been purring for a while now. Is that bad? Should I have stopped them?" Kale moved closer. His face was hard to read, but his golden eyes were wide. "No. Purring is not bad. It is just rare. Velthari cubs stop purring when they are young," Nari explained. Her voice was still unsteady. "It is a sign of weakness. We teach them to hide it, to be strong, to be silent." Yuna looked down at the cubs in her lap. They were still sleeping peacefully. Their purrs had not stopped. "They do not seem weak to me," Yuna said. "They seem happy." Kale and Nari looked at each other. Another silent conversation passed between them. This time, Yuna could almost read it. They were confused, amazed, maybe a little scared. "What did you do?" Kale asked finally. Yuna thought about how to answer. "They practiced hunting pose on me, all three of them. They crouched low and showed their claws and tried to look scary. And you stood still? You showed no fear?" "No," Yuna said. "I picked them up, one at a time. I held them, and told them how brave and scary they were. Then I kissed their heads." Silence. Nari sank down to her knees. She was at eye level with Yuna now. Her golden eyes were wet. Were those tears? Could Velthari cry? "You kissed them," Nari repeated. "Our children. Our predator children. You kissed them. Is that wrong?" Yuna asked. She was starting to worry. "On Earth, that is how we show love to children. We hold them and kiss them and tell them they are special. I did not mean to do anything wrong." "Wrong?" Nari let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. "No, it is not wrong. It is. It is." She could not finish. The words would not come. Kale knelt down next to his mate. His big clawed hand rested on her shoulder. "What Nari is trying to say is that no one has ever done this before." "Done what?" "Treated our cubs like something to love instead of something to fear." Yuna felt her heart get heavy. "What do you mean?" "They are children. How else would someone treat them?" Kale and Nari shared another look. This one was painful. "The galaxy fears us," Kale said slowly. "We are predators, Our ancestors hunted and killed across many star systems. Our history is written in blood. When other species look at us, they do not see people. They see monsters. That includes our children, Nari added. When we travel to other stations, other planets, people pull away from our cubs. They cross to the other side of the corridor. They whisper and point. Some of them scream. Our cubs know this, Kale said. They learn it young. They learn that the galaxy will never love them. They learn to be hard because softness will only get them hurt. Yuna looked down at the sleeping cubs again. She thought about Riki, who had stood alone across the room, who had watched his siblings before he could let himself be held, who had said thank you for treating us like cubs instead of monsters. Her eyes began to sting. That is terrible, she whispered. They are just children. They did not choose to be born Velthari. They did not choose to have claws and teeth. They are just children who want to play and be loved and feel safe. Yes, Nari said, they are. But the galaxy does not see that. The galaxy only sees what we can do, not who we are. 100 Sate. Yuna was quiet for a moment. She looked at the cubs, at their soft fur and closed eyes and peaceful faces, at their little claws that could cut metal but right now were just curled up and relaxed. Then the galaxy is stupid, she said. Kale blinked. What? The galaxy is stupid, Yuna repeated. Her voice was stronger now. Angry, almost. Any species that looks at these children and sees monsters is blind. Any species that cannot see how wonderful and brave and sweet they are does not deserve to know them. She looked up at Kale and Nari. Her eyes were fierce. Your cubs are amazing. They are smart and curious and funny. Tomo found a secret room that no one else could find. Bora is faster than anyone else in her class, and Riki is so strong that he carries the weight of being oldest even though he is still just a child himself. Nari was crying now. Real tears were falling down her furry cheeks. They showed me their hunting pose, Yuna continued. They tried to be scary. And you know what? They were scary. They did a very good job. But when I picked them up and held them, they melted, because under all that fur and claws and teeth, they are just kids who want someone to tell them they are loved. Kale's voice was rough. And you told them that? Of course I did, because it is true. Because every child deserves to hear it. I do not care if they are human or Velthari or any other species in the whole galaxy. Children need love. Period. The room was quiet again. Only the sound of purring filled the space. Then Nari did something unexpected. She moved forward and wrapped her arms around Yuna. It was a hug. A real hug. The first time a Velthari had ever hugged a human. Yuna hugged her back. She was careful not to disturb the cubs, but she held Nari tight. Thank you, Nari whispered into her ear. Thank you for seeing my children. For truly seeing them. Thank you for letting me meet them, Yuna whispered back. When Nari pulled away, Kyle was standing very still. His face was doing something strange. It took Yuna a moment to realize what it was. He was trying not to cry. Human, he said. His voice was thick. Yuna, I owe you a debt. You do not owe me anything. I do. You have given my children something they have never had before. You have shown them that the galaxy is not only a place of fear, that somewhere out there are species who will hold them instead of run from them. That is a gift beyond measure. Quote, Yuna smiled. Then pay the debt forward. Tell other Velthari what happened here. Tell them that humans are not afraid of your cubs. Tell them that we think they are cute. Cute? Kale said the word slowly, like he was tasting it. It means lovely. Adorable. Something you want to protect and cherish. Kale looked down at his sleeping cubs, at their peaceful faces and soft purrs and relaxed bodies. Cute, he repeated. Yes. I think I understand. The story spread faster than anyone expected. Kale told the council what had happened. He described how the human woman had held his cubs and kissed their heads and made them purr for the first time in years. The council members listened in silence. Some of them did not believe him at first. Others thought it was a joke. But then Nari brought the cubs into the council room. Riki, Tomo, and Bora walked in holding each other's hands. They were not doing the hunting pose. They were not showing their claws or baring their teeth. They were just three young cubs who wanted to see the human again. When they spotted Yuna sitting in the corner, they ran to her. All three of them climbed into her lap without hesitation. Bora kissed Yuna's cheek. Tomo showed her a drawing he had made of them together. Riki just pressed his head against her shoulder and started purring. The council watched in stunned silence. These were Velthari cubs, children of the most feared predator species in the galaxy. And they were cuddling with a human like she was their favorite toy. "How is this possible?" one council member asked. He was old, his fur turned gray with age. He had lived long enough to remember when the Velthari were at war with half the galaxy. "How did you do this?" Yuna looked up at him. "I did not do anything special. I just treated them like children. But they are predators. Their instincts should have made them attack. They should have seen you as prey." "Maybe," Yuna said. "But I did not act like prey. I acted like family." The old council member shook his head. "I have lived for 200 years. I have seen many things. But I have never seen anything like this." Word of the incident spread beyond the station. Other Velthari heard about it. Then other species heard about it. Within days, the story had reached a dozen different worlds. A human held Velthari cubs and kissed their heads. She was not afraid. She did not run. She picked them up and told them they were cute. Some species laughed when they heard it. "Typical humans," they said. "Always doing crazy things. Always making friends with creatures that could eat them." But other species were curious. If a human could make friends with Velthari cubs, what did that mean? Could the Velthari be approached differently? Could the galaxy's most feared predators become something else? The Velthari Council met again to discuss what had happened. This time, they had a proposal. "We want more human caretakers," Kale announced. He stood before the council with Nari at his side. "Our cubs responded to this human in ways we have never seen. We believe it would be good for our young to spend more time with humans." "You want to bring more humans to our stations?" one council member asked. She sounded unsure. "Is that wise? Humans are fragile. Our cubs could hurt them by accident." "The human was not hurt," Nari pointed out. "She was careful. She knew how to handle them. And our cubs were careful too. When they felt loved, they became gentle." The debate went on for hours. Some council members were worried. Some were excited. Some did not know what to think. In the end, they voted yes. The Velthari would reach out to the human government. They would ask for volunteers. Humans who were willing to come to Velthari space and help care for their young. Humans who were not afraid of claws and teeth. Humans who saw cute where others saw dangerous. It was a small step. But it was a step forward. Yuna stayed on the station for 2 more weeks. Every day, she spent time with Riki, Tomo, and Bora. She played with them, read to them, taught them games from Earth, and every day, they showed her more of who they really were. Riki started talking more. He told her about his dreams and his fears. He said he wanted to be a doctor someday. He wanted to help other Velthari who were sick or hurt. Yuna told him that was a wonderful dream. Tomo showed her all his secret discoveries. Hidden rooms, loose panels, vents that led to places no one knew about. He was like a little explorer, always curious, always searching. Yuna gave him a notebook so he could draw maps of everything he found. Bora practiced her hunting pose every day, but now she did it differently. She would crouch and growl and look scary, and then she would jump into Yuna's arms and laugh. It was a game now. Not practice for killing, just practice for playing. When it was finally time for Yuna to leave, the whole family came to see her off. Kale shook her hand. His grip was strong but gentle. "You are always welcome here," he said. "In our home. In our family." Nari hugged her tight. "Thank you," she whispered. "For everything." The cubs did not want to let her go. They clung to her legs and her arms and her shirt. Tomo was crying. Bora was trying not to cry. Riki just held on and would not let go. "I do not want you to leave," Riki said. His voice was small. "You are the first person who made me feel okay to be soft." Yuna knelt down so she was at his eye level. She took his face in her hands, careful of his sharp teeth. "Listen to me," she said. "Being soft is not weak. Being soft is brave. It takes courage to let people see the real you. It takes strength to be gentle when the world tells you to be hard." Riki's eyes were wet. "But what if people hurt me? What if they see my softness and use it against me?" "Some might," Yuna admitted. "The galaxy can be cruel, but some will not. Some will see your softness and love you for it. Those are the people worth knowing. Those are the people worth keeping close." Quote. She kissed his forehead, then she kissed Tomo's forehead, then Bora's. "I have to go now," she said. "But I will never forget you. You will be in my heart forever." The cubs finally let her go. They stood with their parents and watched as Yuna walked to the shuttle. She turned at the door and waved. All 5, Velthari waved back. Then the door closed, and Yuna was gone. But the change she had started was just beginning. In the months that followed, human volunteers arrived at Velthari stations across the galaxy. They were teachers and nurses and caretakers. They came from all over Earth, all of them willing to do something the galaxy thought was crazy. They held Velthari cubs, they kissed their heads, they told them they were cute, and slowly, something began to shift. Velthari cubs started purring again. They started playing without fear. They started believing that maybe, just maybe, the galaxy could love them after all. Other species noticed. They saw how the Velthari were changing, how their cubs were happier, how their families were closer. And they started to wonder if they had been wrong about the predator species all along. Trade agreements were signed. Peace talks began. Borders that had been closed for centuries started to open, all because one human woman picked up a cub who was practicing his hunting pose and kissed him on the head. Years later, when historians wrote about the Velthari-human alliance, they called it the greatest diplomatic success of the century. They wrote about trade routes and treaties and formal agreements. But Yuna knew the truth. It was not about politics. It was not about power. It was about something much simpler. It was about seeing children as children. It was about loving creatures that the world told you to fear. It was about being soft when everyone expected you to be hard. It was about choosing kindness, even when kindness seemed impossible. And somewhere across the galaxy, 3 grown Velthari who still remembered the feeling of being held and kissed and called cute continued to change the world. One gentle moment at a time.